Coming to the end of the week, I wanted to discuss some issues with a lot of mass layoffs from popular media companies, mainly the left wing. Actually, come to think about it, they're all left wing, and I don't really find this amusing. I actually find it very sad because they went out of their way to go and lie to the extent that now their businesses are failing miserably because nobody likes liars and they don't want to listen to that kind of stuff. Who wants to listen to news when you know that they're lying to you? On Wednesday, we had Buzzfeed's management announce that they had plans to lay off hundreds of employees due to them having to restructure. You see, the whole reason why this is all playing out is because when BuzzFeed lies to their audience doesn't want to buy from them, to donate, to pay for any sort of subscription at all. Why would they? Because, like I was saying, it's going to just be fake news. You would never want to pay for anything if you know you're not going to get a result. When you're constantly lying and betraying people by not reporting the truth, just making up lies out of thin air, as a result, your abuse of power is going to be taken away from you. You're not going to be able to lie and manipulate people anymore for money, and your business will crumble. I've heard a great amount of people mock the employees of BuzzFeed for being laid off, saying this is a good thing, they deserve it because they're always lying all the time. And really, if you start thinking about it logically, it's not really everyone's responsibility. I know as a journalist, yes, you do have to report the facts and the truth, but at the end of the day, too, they do have a producer, they have a CEO that are controlling the whole entire agenda and how they are supposed to report. Remember, this is digital media, it's not independent media. They don't really have control. You cannot blame each and every individual employee for the downfall of this company. Sometimes when an employee decides to do something, it's not really their first instinct because that's their personal decision, how they actually feel. It's more of the agenda that could be pushed by the company so that they don't lose their job. As horrible as that is to say, it's the truth. So you have to think about that in the end. And I know some companies you would just think, yeah, BuzzFeed, that shouldn't exist. But at the same time, there's a lot of other media companies that are also lying at the same time and not really telling the truth 100%. Even some on the right that aren't telling the truth all the time. Where I stand is that if you're a company and you want to talk about something that's like your opinion, it's not really popular, it couldn't be like 100% true, then go ahead, go do that. But if you're actually going to inform people, I feel like it's wrong to just downright lie to them and start doing that if you know that. Like if you actually have to present facts, some sort of proof while telling a story, then that could be a big issue. In the end, it's up to the CEOs, the producers, all the big bosses to make the final decisions on what's actually going to be reported, what news should be highlighted, and what should actually be discussed. Now, the CEO, Jonah Peretti, actually ended up writing a memo to the staff that was obtained by the Wall Street Journal. To summarize the memo, it basically explained that 15% of the employees are going to be cut off, and that's because they're trying to make like a different cost restructure so that they're able to save money. Maybe someday they're going to be able to employ more people, but I really doubt it the way that they're going. If you want to lie, I don't see that your company is going to be growing anytime soon. You know what this also shows me is that conservatives are being silenced, right? Everybody can see that clear as day. And I feel like when conservatives are being silenced, people are pushed to the center. They're pushed all the way to the right where they're totally red-pilled. So when that happens and somebody is really mad when BuzzFeed starts totally going with that whole left-wing agenda, I mean, they're over the top. They're completely a whole level above CNN, and that is ridiculous. One thing that people don't like is having certain opinions pushed down their throat. Even if you agree with those opinions, you still don't want them pushed down your throat. If I completely agree with something, I had every single media outlet saying, yeah, and just agreeing with that, saying, yes, that's great, I would start questioning things. I would be like, okay, maybe I should think twice. Going back to Buzzfeed, I want to talk about exactly how many employees are going to be laid off because of this. And with Verizon, it's their parent company. They're also laying off people as well. BuzzFeed, they have around roughly 1,450 employees. Then, the number of employees that they have to actually lay off is 220. So when you think about that, when you think about the whole entire 12 employees and the number that they're firing, that's a huge chunk. The crazy thing about this is the fact that journalists, they actually left Vice to try to work at this company, and now when they did that, you see a whole entire domino effect happening. This is really interesting to see how everything's breaking down, how you can see kind of like older news is dying out, how you can see a lot of news that are lying to people. If you're not completely honest and you actually want to have visual proof in a video and say one thing is another, people can really figure that out. People aren't stupid. No, you can't trick anyone. Now it's 2019. Therefore, when you see a picture and you see a video, I feel like a lot of people, they actually can point out what the truth is. And that makes me feel a lot better about the internet. It's interesting to see if this may spread to other news organizations, possibly if we're going to hear about anything else in the future. And if not, then I think it's just going to become something that maybe faded in the past and we're not really going to look on upon this because news, it's always going to change like a lot of other things in life. So sometimes change is good. Change can also be bad and you just kind of have to go with the flow. I feel like the majority of the time with independent journalists, they always report on the truth. Whether or not they're giving out their personal opinion, they're going to try to give you the truth because why not? Why would they want to be not credible? Because when a journalist is incredible and they can be proved wrong, then all of a sudden, all of that is discredited from their work that they've had in the past and people, they just don't believe them anymore. I've had news companies that I've actually favored even on the right, where I've seen that they've been wrong in situations. It really goes both ways. We can't just say that all left media is completely lying to us. We actually have a few on the right that are just really hyperbolic. They're trying to exploit a lot of situations for stuff that it really isn't. They're making it extreme and making us think to the next level. But hey, it's okay because it's played on both sides. So when you realize that, though, it becomes completely different. Another thing is with independent journalism is the majority of the time with an independent journalist, you can guarantee that they're going to get the news out faster than someone that's actually working for a major news company because usually that person is on the clock and they're going to wait until that time period. They're not really going to work at home like 24/7, 7 days a week. That's more what an entrepreneur does in any category, really. They're going to be working about, I'd say, 7 days a week, if not 6 days a week, all the time, versus somebody that would be working 4 to 5 times a week because they already have their job set up for them and maybe it's already for a company. So they have a boss, they have everything set up, it's great, and they didn't build that up themselves organically. And when you have somebody else that's actually trying to build up their own kind of stuff, it's a little bit different. I have a lot of times where I get out info faster than a lot of journalists that are working on a salary. And I think that's because they're not on the clock. They're not employed at that time, so if they're not getting paid, I mean, they're employed, but if they're not getting paid at that time, and they're not clocked in, they don't know if that time is actually going to count, or are they going to be working from home? A lot of them do, though. A lot of them do. I will credit them on that, where it counts. You got to give people credit where it counts, because we don't like them. You have to realize when they're doing something good, so that's okay. But the whole entire factor is that they're not really doing it all. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed what I had to talk about. I'm going to have a new video coming really soon, so check out some of my other videos. There's a lot going on there, and I'll check you next time.